All right, so identify 4 unpleasant experiences you had as a child. How have these experiences impacted how you see the world, and do you think the time has changed the way you view these experiences? All right, so I had overall a pretty happy childhood. I guess I didn't really experience anything super unpleasant that really messed me up. But I guess I was a naughty kid and I got spanked a lot. So that was unpleasant. I didn't like that. Another unpleasant experience that I had as a kid. Um, well, in kindergarten, this is super embarrassing even still to this day, but I pooped my pants in kindergarten, and that was just awful. That was an extremely unpleasant experience. What else? Let's see. I fell off my bike and scraped up my knee really bad when I was a kid. I was probably like 4 or 5, just learning how to ride a bike. And I still have a scar on my knee from scraping my knee. So that was the third super unpleasant experience. And lastly, I guess the only other thing that I can really think of off the top of my head is having to put my first dog to sleep. And I wasn't even a super small child when we had to do that. I think maybe I was in middle school or like 7th grade or something like that. So these experiences overall, while unpleasant, haven't necessarily impacted how I view the world as a whole, because even then I could realize that they were just small things that were happening in life. They weren't huge monumental life experiences. Obviously when I was a kid, I hated getting spanked, and that, I mean, if anything, if that's changed how I view the world today, it's probably taught me more respect, because kids, I feel like these days aren't disciplined well enough, and they're mouthy and sassy, and not in a good way, and just disrespectful to their parents. I can't tell you how many times I see parents with their small kids out at Target or Walmart or wherever, and their kids are just mouthing off to them. If that was me when I was their age, my parents would have taken me right there and spanked me right there. And all of the parents do is just ignore them. I can't think of any time that I've ever seen a parent, swat their butt in public. I think a lot of that has to do with the stigma with disciplining your kid, spanking them on the butt. Everything is child abuse these days. Ever since the stuff with Adrian Peterson, people are so scared of disciplining their kids. And I don't think there's anything wrong with smacking your kid on the butt. If that's going to teach them not to do something, then do it. But there's a difference between swatting them on the butt and, striking them with a switch and making them bleed. So getting kind of off topic, but I think that being disciplined in that way as a child taught me to be more respectful, because I didn't want to get hit. So, that as far as time changing the way I viewed that experience, I think it's changed in the way of me being not appreciative of it, but I understand why my parents did that. Back then, all I thought was that they were mean and cruel and the worst parents ever, and why are you hitting me? I just, did something. And so like I said, I don't appreciate it, but I understand why they did it. Skinning my knee, I guess that didn't really impact how I see the world, and time didn't really change how I viewed the experience, other than back then I thought that I was dying, and then it was the end of the world, scraping my knee, and now I'm just oh, okay, I have a scar, cool. Putting my dog to sleep, then it was the worst thing in the world for me, because my dog was one of my best friends. Every day when I came home from school, there she was at the back door to say hi to me, and we just hung out all the time, and I was absolutely heartbroken when we had to have her put to sleep. I knew she was sick at the time, but I just didn't understand why we had to have her put to sleep. Now, obviously, I understand that it was for the better. She was having seizures all the time, and she was just, she wasn't happy, and she wasn't as energetic as she used to be, so it was just not fair to keep her around, and I understand that now. So, As far as like the poop in my pants in kindergarten, that one is still embarrassing, even though I was like 5 years old when it happened. The experience impacted how I see the world. Then I guess I was just super embarrassed. Now I'm still super embarrassed. Now I'm just able to look at it and like laugh. It's kind of funny, but still kind of embarrassing. I don't know, I guess there were teachers around and they were really helpful to me when it happened. But I don't know, it was still super embarrassing. Okay, so this listening journal got to be really long, so I'm just going to end it now and move on to the next one.